this, what the International Law Commission says about this in 1966. It is that conflict clauses are clauses intended to regulate the relation between the provisions of the treaty and those of another treaty or of any other treaty related to matters with which the treaty deals. And the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, Article 30.2, states that when a treaty specifies that it is subject to or that it is not to be considered as incompatible with an earlier or later treaty, the provisions of that other treaty prevail. So what we call a conflict clause is the provision of a treaty, let's say in a treaty A-B, between A and B, that states what or how we can articulate or how we can organize the relations with another treaty, let's say a treaty A, B, C, and D. If there are some contradictory obligations in this treaty and in that treaty, of course you need to organize the obligations. If under treaty A and B have to do something that is contrary to, or that is in contradiction with treaty A, B, C, and D, the best solution is to have a conflict clause in that treaty or in that treaty to organize the obligations of the states to make sure that there are no contradictory obligations for A and B under that treaty and that treaty. Okay, so the conflict clause is the provision which organize the obligations under different treaties. Okay, well, we can present this like this to make a short summary of the conflict clauses. So you have different types of conflict clauses. Conflict clauses that establish a hierarchy with respect to prior treaties, to subsequent treaties, so treaties that may be concluded in the future, and some deal or with both prior and subsequent treaties. And each of these three categories can be further divided in two subcategories based on whether the conflict clause gives priority to the treaty which incorporates the conflict clause or gives priority to the prior treaties or to the subsequent treaties. Okay, so it's just a question of articulation between obligations. So we will first try to present just some examples of various types of conflict clause included in international treaties. So first we can mention the conflict clauses referring to earlier treaties. Okay? So some like this, we said that the treaty overrides earlier treaties. So that's the case for the 1949 Geneva Convention related to the treatment of prisoners of war. So it's the third Geneva Convention, and Article 134 states that the present convention replaces the Convention of July 27, 1929 in relations between the contracting parties. So in that case, if you have two treaties applicable to the same situation, and if there are some contradictory obligations for states who are parties to this treaty and that treaty, of course, if there are some contradictory obligations, a state party to that treaty and that treaty cannot respect both treaties breach the other one, or if you breach the first one, you can respect the other one. So in that case, Article 134 states that this treaty prevails over that treaty. So it replaces the Convention of 1929. So because of this, there cannot be any contradictory obligations on states. States have to respect that treaty and not the 1929 treaty. So we can also give an example of treaties giving priority to earlier treaty. It's the case of the 1997 Convention on the Law of the Non-Navigational Uses of Watercourses. So it's everything that concerns irrigation, electricity, hydropower, etc. So Article 3 refers to watercourse agreements. And Article 3 states that in the absence of an agreement to the contrary, nothing in the present convention shall affect the rights and or obligations of a watercourse state arising from agreements in force for it on the date on which it became a party to the present convention. So it means that if you have this situation, so an international watercourse is this. Okay, it's this. This is state A, state B, and this is an international watercourse. So it's a watercourse that has that flows on the territory of A, then on the territory of B. Okay, and of course you need rules on those watercourses because here we are on the territory of A. So as a sovereign state A has the right to do what it wants on the territory. And here B is on its own territory, so as a sovereign state, it has the right to do almost what it wants on that territory. So this treaty states that, well, let's say that A becomes the party to the 1997 Convention on the 1st January of 2000. If there was a bilateral agreement between A and B regarding this watercourse concluded in 1999 or in 1980, doesn't matter. Okay, so if we have a treaty in force at that date, okay, the date of the entry into force of this treaty for A, this convention does not affect this. Okay, so Treaty AB in the relations between A and B prevails over the 1997 Convention on the Law of the Non-Navigational Uses of Watercourses. Okay, so here the convention clearly states that if there are some agreements in force regarding the watercourses, well, the relations between A and B will be governed by this treaty. It means that if there are some contradictory obligations for A between the 1997 Convention and the Treaty AB, or the obligations under Treaty AB will prevail over the obligations under the 1997 Convention. Okay, so that's an illustration of the clauses referring to earlier treaties for which the states decide to give priority to earlier treaties. We also have some conflict clauses referring to further treaties, means treaties that may be concluded in the future. Okay? And once again, we can give some examples. So, situation where the treaty overrides subsequent treaties. Is 1989 Basel Convention on the Control of Transboundary Movements of Hazardous Wastes and their Disposal, Article 11, regarding bilateral, multilateral, etc. So, parties may enter into bilateral, multilateral, or regional agreements or arrangements regarding transboundary movements of hazardous wastes or other waste with parties or non-parties, provided that such agreements or arrangements do not derogate from the environmentally sound management of hazardous wastes and other wastes as required by this convention. These agreements or arrangements shall stipulate provisions which are not less environmentally sound than those provided for by this convention, in particular taking into account the interests of developing countries. So, what is stated there? It is that a state or states parties to the 1989 Basel Convention are allowed to conclude bilateral or multilateral or regional agreements on the transboundary movements of hazardous wastes, but those agreements, those arrangements, stipulate provisions which are not less environmentally sound than those provided for by this convention. It means that these conventions or the rules of this convention prevail over any other international rule included in treaties negotiated or concluded after the entry into force of that treaty. Okay? So here we states clearly say that this treaty shall prevail over subsequent treaties or future treaties adopted in the future. Well, can we say that this kind of provision is efficient? Well, is it really efficient to say that the treaties we will negotiate, we will conclude in the future, shall respect these treaties? What are the limits of such a provision? Is it always efficient, this kind of provision?
Maybe the treaty that come into force before this treaty become into force.
The question is, yeah, it's the relations or the relation here with subsequent treaties. So let's say a treaty concluded in 2019. If there are some contradictions with this treaty, this 1989 treaty, and a treaty concluded in 2019 can happen? In what circumstances we could question the efficiency of this provision, of this kind of provision? Let's say that I don't know if it's the case. Do you know if Cambodia is a party to that treaty? Well, let's say it is. I'm not sure. I don't know. But let's say that Cambodia is party to that treaty, and so party to the Basel Convention, and let's say that North Korea, which is not the party to the Basel Convention. Okay, let's say that Cambodia became a party to the Basel Convention. Well, I don't know. Let's say 1995. Okay, it's fictional. I really don't know. So we have a state, Cambodia, party to the Basel Convention. So this provision is binding on Cambodia. And we have a state, North Korea, which is not party to the Basel Convention. And let's say that Cambodia and North Korea decide to conclude an agreement, a treaty, in 2018 on the transboundary transportation movements on the transboundary movements of hazardous waste. So, if there is a contradiction between this treaty binding on Cambodia and that treaty, 2018 treaty between Cambodia and North Korea, if there are some contradictions, can we say that this provision, what are the effects of this provision on the agreement concluded between Cambodia and North Korea?
More environmentally sounded than the previous one, but it is contradictory to the previous one and not more favorable to environment. It shall not be prepared.
Well, so let's say that this treaty between Cambodia and North Korea is derogates from the environmentally sound management of hazardous waste, etc. So if there is clearly a treaty less protective of the environment, what are the consequences of Article 11 on the treaty between Cambodia and North Korea?
Then you have to refer to the certificate model is important.
Are you sure? What's the problem in that situation?
North Korea is not a party to.
Yeah, so of course North Korea is not bound by this. So there's no obligation for North Korea to refer to the rules and principles of the Basel Convention. So that's one point. So this only applies to Cambodia, not to these states. That's the first point. The second point is that it only states that it does not state that this treaty should be void or nullified by this. It's just to say that the provisions regarding the protection of the environment included in that treaty shall prevail over less protective provisions in other subsequent treaties. But it does not mean that this treaty is nullified by this provision. So some say that this kind of provision is clearly not useful. That's the position or the opinion expressed by Karl Wolfram, which is a German scholar. He states that clauses which claim priority over the future treaty engagements are futile. They cannot be invoked against third states. They do not render conflicting treaties void, and they can always be overcome by the common will of the parties. In that, let's say that we have if we have this situation, if we say that Cambodia and North Korea are both parties to the Basel Convention, so they have a common agreement on this. They have a common agreement on this, but what has been made by a common agreement can be overcome by the common will of the parties. Means that, okay, we, Cambodia and North Korea, decide to make the Basel Convention prevail over further treaties we may conclude in the future. So as sovereign states, we accept something, but as sovereign states, we may in the future say, okay, we consider that this bilateral treaty prevails over the Basel Convention. So what states have made as sovereign entities can be unknown by states as acting as sovereign entities. So that's the reason why some, like Karl Wolfram, say that these provisions, these conflict codes, are not really useful. Okay. We also have some situations in which the provision gives priority to subsequent treaty. That's the case in the 1963 Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, Article 73. The provisions of the present convention shall not affect other international agreements in force as between state parties to them, and nothing in the present convention shall preclude states from concluding international agreements confirming or supplementing or extending